Okay, video number 2, leading edge skins. So we got our tape up here. You can see I've gone down through here, and I like to use a pretty wide Sharpie. You know, it doesn't matter. You just want to get that rivet when we put it in, you know, on the flat part here. You know, this is pretty wide. So I've gone down through top and bottom, and I've marked the centers of this all the way down. I've also go along, as you can see, and I put my little pieces of tape. So I'm kind of securing these noses. But again, I like this because you'll see as you go along, we may have to move these ribs just a little bit. And this gives us just enough flexibility where we can do it, or we can pop the whole thing off if we need to. So I've gone along here. That's the end of the number 5 cap strip sticking out. That's fine. The landing light's just laying in position. Just throw some tape up there. You know, we're just gonna go over this tape and it's just gonna stay here. You know, it'll forever be underneath the leading edge skin, which is fine. So all the way down through here, I've done that. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna take the last most outboard skin, which is what I've done here. And again, this is a skin that you'll notice will not wrap all the way around to the spar. All the rest of these skins here will actually wrap all the way around under the bottom of the spar and be drilled into the spar there. This one is gonna be, wraps around the top of the spar. Here, as you can see, we've got this lip here, and it's going to go around, but it's going to stop short of going all the way back. And again, what that means is we can reach up underneath here as we go, and we can move ribs all the way down to our finish. So this is a very easy skin to do. The old kits were not pre-drilled, so we actually had to mark and drill these, and they gave us a fixture here back we used to have to use, and I think the manual still even shows how to use that fixture for drilling holes and cutting out the place for the stall warning horn to go. Now you can see here, this was all actually pre-done at the factory. This is kit number 60. So this was all cut out at the factory, so you don't even have to do that anymore. Plus the nut plates in the nut plates for the flap fall spar were already put in, and then the nut plates now for the the number 1 leading edge skin are installed at the factory too. So man, it's just getting easier every day. You can see here we've got our landing lights. That way you can verify that the wires are in the right position here. So that's our landing light wiring harness has come up here, and it's going to be taped up out of the way there so we can get to it later. This again is a stall warning horn. So obviously our stall warning wires are back here. One of them we had to attach, we had to drill that hole and attach that little screw into the spar there. And so we've got those just kind of taped out of the way here so we can get to them later when we're going to install the pitot tube when we are getting ready to go flying. All the way down to the end, our navigation lights on our wingtip come out here. And again, this spar is actually pre-drilled for a hole, so we can take the ground wire that's part of this harness, and it goes into we screw it into that hole over on that side of the spar. Okay, so now the manual says that you take this skin and put it about 1 inch out here. You don't just forget that. We're going to line up the holes. Okay, so the first thing you do is take this skin and wrap it over this spar. And what you got to be careful of is that whenever we get ready, eventually we're going to drill these holes into the spar over here. Just broke my tape loose. I'm trying to get it fixed back. Well, there's holes back over here, and that we're going to drill into the spar to connect all these skins to the spar. Well, those holes are pre-drilled, so they're actually right. So we don't really have to worry about hitting the bulb in that spar as long as we've got these skins flush with the bottom of the spar. My finger right now is touching the bottom of the spar, and this skin is flush. I found that if you just use a good spring clamp like this and clamp it so that it's on the bottom of the spar and the top here, I do that twice. You could do it maybe 3 times, but that's probably not necessary. There's enough flex in these later when we get ready to actually drill the holes, they'll be okay. But in any case, that's where you want to make sure the skins are coming up enough where they wrap over and will go all the way to the bottom. Then what I did is just literally take the skin And again, we've got to read, there's where the ribs are, where these Clecos are. So you just look, you see how I see the blue mark down in there? There's a blue mark. Here's a blue mark. And as we go all the way around, there's going to be 2 more rivet holes, and there's going to be blue marks that's going to go on the bottom of the ribs here. Okay, obviously we're not going to do anything here because we're going to overlap the neck skin on top of this hole, line up the holes with these holes, and everything else should line up on those also. So the ribs, the nose ribs, we've got perpendicular to the spar. We may have to move them a little bit, but again, in these sections, all the next 3 skins are going to wrap completely around. So we're not going to be able to touch these ribs, nose ribs, easily. I'll show you how we're going to get to them, but you can't get to them very easily once you wrap it around the back side. This one, again, is a lot easier. So on this one, what we're going to do is literally, you can see, you just line it up, make sure you've got it all the way up here, clamped, that the holes all line up on your little blue marks at the top, and go through and drill and Cleco the top screw into each of the ribs, okay? Don't worry too much about the other ones yet. Just get these top ones where your blue line is centered in the hole, drill it and Cleco it. You're good to go. Then just move down to the second row. If you need to move it over just a little bit, just reach in with your hand, go over here, grab the rib. You can push it or pull it a little bit. And then once you, using both hands, once you have a rib, like maybe I can do it with this, see that hole there? See, I can take this rib, see how I'm moving it? So once you move it to where you want it, if you then push down on the skin against the rib, you can hold it there until you get your drill bit in there and drill the hole. And then you drill the hole, and then of course come back with your Cleco and you're lined up, okay? But that'll actually hold it in position with your thumb, with your hand, until you get the drill bit on it. So drill the first row of holes, then come back, work on the second row. They should be, if everything is right, they should be pretty much right there. I think maybe on these I'm wiggled one just a little bit to make it perfectly centered. So now pretty much, if we've got these tops 2, it's probably going to be really close on the bottom, but we're going to bend it around. I'm going to bend it around next and get the clamps out. They're over here, and I'm going to start clamping it and doing that. But before I do that, I'm going to go all the way down the line with all of the skins and do just what I did here. So we're going to put it over the top, we're going to clamp it, drill the first 2 rows of holes, and then I'm going to come back, and then we'll start wrapping this sucker around and using the clamps and securing it. So I'll be back later.